Everyone, today let's review shlokas 52 to 56 in Lalita Sahasranamam. Sarvaśaktimayī, sarvamangaḻā, sadgatipradā, sarveśvarī, sarvamayī, sarvamantra svarūpiṇī, sarvayantrātmikā, sarva tantrarūpā manonmanī, māheśvarī, mahādevī, mahālakśhmīr mṛḍapriyā, mahārūpā, mahāpūjyā, mahāpātaka nāśinī, mahāmāyā, mahāsattvā, mahāśaktir, mahāratiḥ, mahābhogā, mahaiśvaryā, mahāvīryā, mahābalā, mahābuddhir, mahāsiddhir, mahāyogeśvareśvarī, mahātantrā, mahāmantra, mahāyantrā, mahāsana, mahāyāgakramarādhyā, mahābhairava-pūjitā. Let's look at the meanings. Just as a small recap, last video we saw Devi as the Nirguna Brahman. So the ultimate reality that has no attributes. So all the namas started with Nir. And that ultimate reality is completely beyond human perception. It's beyond our words, we cannot describe it. It's beyond our mind, we cannot perceive it. So this section, the set of slokas we are going to look at today, are going to explain the powers of that ultimate reality. That ultimate reality is formless, attributeless, limitless. And because it is limitless, it means it is all powerful. And we are going to look at the powers specifically in a way that we can comprehend. The second line of shloka 51 already started with those powers. So we'll start for the sake of continuity, we'll start there. Sarvagnya sandra karuna samanadika varjita. Sarvagnya is one who knows everything. So that ultimate reality is omniscient. So knows everything that is happening. It is the witness to everything that's happening in the universe and therefore knows everything. Sandra karuna. Sandra means thick or strong. So Sandra Karuna, that ultimate reality, is compassionate, strongly compassionate, intensely compassionate. Samana adhika varjita. Samana means equal, samam, it's equal. Adhika means more or above. Varjita means devoid. So that ultimate reality is devoid of anything equal or superior to it. So ultimate reality is the ultimate. Now we'll start with the namas in shlokas 52 onwards. Sarvaśaktimayī. Shakti here means powers. Sarvaśaktimayī has all powers. Sarvamangaḻā. Mangalam means auspicious. So sarvamangaḻā is everything that is auspicious. So that ultimate reality is auspicious. Sadgatipradā. That ultimate reality leads to the right path. Sadgati is a good place. So sadgatipradā means leads to a good place, good path, or shows us the right path. Sarveśvarī. Sarva Ishvarī. So Ishvara is usually used to indicate Lord or Master. So Sarveśvarī is someone who rules over everything. Sarvamayī. Mayī is should be interpreted as embodiment or essence. Sarvamayī means essence of everything. Sarvamantra svarūpiṇī. So essence of all the mantras, or svarūpam can also be thought as form. So she is the form of all the mantras, or she exists as mantras. That ultimate reality is the mantra or essence of the mantra. Sarvayantrātmikā. Atmika means soul. Atma is soul. Sarvayantrātmikā means is the soul of all yantras. Sarva tantrarūpā. She is the form of all tantras. Rupam is form. She is the form of all tantras. So the three things, sarva mantra svarūpiṇī, sarva yantrātmika, sarva tantrarūpā, says that she is the essence of all mantras, or that ultimate reality. Devi as the ultimate reality is the essence of all mantras, is the soul of all yantras and form of all tantras. So let's take a brief look at what is mantram, yantram and tantram. So we've seen this many times before. According to Advaita Vedanta, there is only one ultimate reality. That ultimate reality manifested into all the forms in the universe. Everything in this universe is simply a form of that ultimate reality. But during the process of creation, there is a Maya that happens. The veil of Maya, the illusion, makes the manifested form forget that it is that ultimate reality. And the Maya introduces the concept of time and space, which limits that ultimate reality into a certain form and in a certain time. So everything that is born will have a birth and death. That is something that is subject to. And everything that is born is also having a form. There is a shape to it. So this Maya constrains that ultimate reality, and because of that, it makes the manifested forms have an inherent sense of lack, think of themselves as separate from the rest of the universe. And this is the stage all of us are in as human beings. We are all under that veil of Maya, and anyone who is able to pierce the veil of Maya is a yogi, right? Then they can realize that ultimate reality, and that is considered as the ultimate goal of every human beings, because the moment the veil of Maya is pierced by someone and they recognize the divinity in them and the oneness with that ultimate reality, such a person will no longer have birth and death. So they can cross the cycle of birth and death. That is what is called as samsara sagaram, and they can cross that. So it is said that the whole idea of human life is to achieve that ultimate goal. And there are many ways to achieve that goal. So in order to get to that ultimate reality, recognize that divinity in every human being has to undergo significant transformation. And for us, those of us who are just engaged in the material world, it is very hard for us to first understand that oneness with the next person. Maximum we can go up to our family. So treating everybody as one with us, all that is required in order for us to recognize who we are truly, and identify ourselves properly, and go beyond the identification with our body and mind, and then go beyond the conditioning of our mind to recognize the oneness, is a very long transformation. So the great rishis and all the seers who came before us and who have propagated all of this have given us many methods or techniques in order to approach that. So mantra is one way. Mantram is manana trayate iti mantraha. So mananam means repetition. So that which protects us when we repeat it is mantra. So tra also in Sanskrit, it also means transporting. So as we keep repeating the mantra, it creates that transformation in us. So the mantra works through the medium of sound. So transformation via sound is mantra. And as we keep telling it, this mantra will create that desired effect in our psyche, and then we are transformed and get one step closer to achieving that ultimate oneness, or recognizing the divinity in us. So mantra is transformation through sound. Tantra, tan generally means to expand. So increasing our awareness by utilizing the energy of our body is called tantra. So that's why if you look at in tantra, there is also mudras and everything fall under tantra. So holding your hand in a certain way and sitting in a certain posture, all that will help with that transformation. Tantra also uses the mantra, and it also uses yantra. So Tantra is kind of more comprehensive in that it takes advantage of every method available in order to create that transformation. So Tantra is called technique. So it is using our energy and utilizing our body and mind as a way to achieve that transformation. Yantra is transformation using an external device. So Sri Chakram is a yantra, right? So it is possible to utilize, direct our energy and focus towards that Sri Chakra, which then creates that transformation in us. And Sri Chakra is called as the king of all yantras. It is the Raja Chakra. So it's above every other yantra. So that is the Tantra, Mantra, Yantra that is referred here. And she is the essence of all mantras, she is the soul of all yantras, and she is the form of all tantras. Manonmanī. Manonmanī means the 8th plane of consciousness. So let's take a closer look at it. So we all know that there are 7 chakras in the body, right? That's the energy centers. Chakras are all the energy centers. There are 7 of them that are very important. There are several chakras in the body, but 7 of them are most important. Out of this, the final chakra is called as Sahasrara. Generally, it is said that when the Kundalini energy rises and reaches that Sahasrara, there is a cup in there that has nectar, and it hits that cup and the nectar flows down and the person achieves bliss. That's how it's usually referenced. So Sahasrara is the last one. And just before Sahasrara, there is Agnya Chakra. This Agnya Chakra is between the eyebrows. And between Agnya Chakra and Sahasrara, there are 8 small chakras, if you will. And the small chakra that is right before that Sahasrara is called Unmani. When the energy raises up to Unmani, then the person can go beyond the mind. In order for the energy to have raised up to Agnya, the person has to go beyond the body. So when the energy raises up to the Unmani, that is beyond mind, and at that point, time and space cease to exist. And that's a very important thing. When time and space cease to exist, when the person is able to go beyond time, then that means they have pierced the veil of Maya. So at that point, it becomes, they're just one step closer to the final bliss. That's what it means. And in Sri Chakra, that Unmani represents the innermost triangle. There is the 3 sides of that triangle. It says Pramatur, Prameya, Pramana. That is experiencer, experience, the process of experiencing. So that innermost triangle collapses into the bindu. So for normal words, what it means is the person is able to go beyond the subject-object differentiation, the aham idam, that differentiation drops. When the distinction drops, then they are very close to reaching that oneness with the ultimate reality. So Unmani is that 8th plane of consciousness, and that's what is referred here. In the Unmani, she is Maheshwarī. Maheshwarī is wife of Maheshwara. Generally, when explaining this Kundalini, to make it easy for people to understand, what they say is the Kundalini energy is dormant and it is at the end of the spine. That energy is considered to be Shakti. And Sahasrara is where Shiva is. And the Kundalini energy rising is compared to Shakti rushing to meet Shiva. And in Sahasrara, Shakti and Shiva unite. So this 8th plane of consciousness, that Unmani, is the very last point where she is Shakti. In Sahasrara, that Shakti combines with Shiva, and therefore that is the ultimate reality. And if you look at the Tattva map, the ultimate reality, the first 2 steps is that there is complementary aspects for that ultimate reality, which is Shiva and Shakti. When everything is contained, there is no manifestation, we call that Shiva. When universe is manifested, that energy of that universe is what we call as Shakti. So when Shakti and Shiva combine, then it is ultimate reality. So in that Unmani, she is the wife of Maheshwara. Mahādevī. Mahādevī means she is the supreme Devi. So once Shakti and Shiva are connected at Sahasrara, then it is the supreme Devi. Now it's all Devi. mahālakśhmīr. Mahālakśhmīr means, in this particular case, what that means is the brilliance of that light. It's said that in the Sahasrara, when the Kundalini energy rises up to Sahasrara, there is this brilliance which is like a lightning flashing, and that lightning flashing is the absolute beauty, and that is everything to want for. So Mahālakśhmī here, usually Lakshmi represents beauty and she represents prosperity and happiness. So it is referred to as Mahālakśmī to say that the beauty of that particular state. mṛḍapriyā. Mṛḍa is another name for Shiva. So mṛḍapriyā can be referenced as one who likes Shiva or one who is liked by Shiva. Both of those are appropriate. And in the Sahasrara, she joins Shiva. So that seems appropriate here. But another way to look at it is mṛḍa is also happiness. mṛḍapriyā means she is she likes that bliss. So in that Sahasrara, when the Kundalini energy reaches the Sahasrara, what the person achieves is bliss, and that's what she likes. mahārūpā. Mahārūpā means the supreme form. And we already spoke about this. The ultimate reality is formless, right? It has no form. But the manifested form is coming from that ultimate reality, right? So when the ultimate reality gets subject to space, when it's bound by space, then now it has a form. So the formless is the reason for the form. And at Sahasrara, that brilliant light flashing is a arūpa rūpam, means formless form. And that is the last step before it becomes formless, or it is the first step before it becomes form. So in that, she is the supreme form. mahāpūjyā. Mahāpūjyā is one who is the object of worship by all, or she is worshipped by all. And that the Kundalini reaching Sahasrara and bliss is the ultimate attainment for a human being. And that Kundalini or Sahasrara, that Shakti, that ultimate reality is the object worthy of worship by everyone. mahāpātaka nāśinī. So patakam means a sin or a big error, big mistake. Mahāpātaka nāśinī, she destroys all the great sins. So anyone who has achieved oneness with that ultimate reality has their all their sins erased, and therefore has no more birth or death. That person has crossed the samsara sagaram, now is completely become one with that ultimate reality. So in that, she destroys all the sins, because the punya papa count is what creates the life and death again and again, the cycles of that. mahāmāyā. Mahāmāyā, she is the source of all the illusion. So in the process of creation, the sixth step is Maya, and it's a very important step, and it's the act of Maya that limits that unlimited ultimate reality. And it is the Maya that creates this time and space, which then leads to a feeling of separateness, or the aham idam differentiation, and therefore we all develop ahamkara, and then we have desires, and our actions are limited. And when we say our actions are limited, if we are born as a human being, there are only certain things we can do, right? Suddenly we can't fly. Similarly, a tiger can only act in a certain way. It cannot think beyond its makeup and nature and go do something. So that is the limitation that's spoken about. Of course, as human beings, there are lots of things if we set our mind to, we can achieve. But the limitation that's being spoken about is we are still acting within the capabilities of that body and that mind. So that is the limitation that we are talking about. And Maya is the reason why we are in that situation. And she is the reason for that Maya, and she is the Maya herself. Mahāsattvā. Mahāsattvā means she is the great reality. She is the supreme reality. So every individual, as we are going about our lives, we all use this word reality very often. But whatever reality we are speaking about, it is subjective reality. None of us perceive the true reality. So because we look at everything through our own lens, and our lens is colored based on our life experiences, and those life experiences condition us to think in a certain way, and therefore we also look at everything in that way. So if you wear red glass, everything will have a tinge of red. If you wear green glasses, then everything will have a tinge of green, and therefore we all have our own worldview. So our reality, even though we keep using the word reality, it's a subjective reality, whereas what the ultimate reality is the truth. That's why it's called as tat sat. So sat chit anandam. So that is the true reality, and that ultimate reality is the truth. That is the true reality. Mahāshakti. Shakti here means power, and she is the supreme power, can do anything. There is no limits to what this ultimate reality can achieve. Mahāratiḥ. Mahāratiḥ means supreme delight. So the ultimate reality, achieving that and understanding the oneness with that ultimate reality is defined as bliss, and that is the greatest delight one can have. Mahābhogā. Bhogam means enjoyment. Mahābhogā is supreme enjoyment, or one who enjoys themselves the most. And it is said that this ultimate reality manifests into all the different forms for its own enjoyment. So, if you will think about it this way, a lot of us have pastimes, right? We watch different movies. If you're a movie lover, you'd watch different movies. Or if you love to read books, you would read different story books. And they're all done for our enjoyment, right? Each story in a movie would talk about different things, the lives of different people, comedy, whatever genre that we are watching. And those are all entertainment. We watch it for a few hours, and then it entertains. For that ultimate reality, manifestation is like that. So each life and the experiences that life goes through is for that ultimate reality's enjoyment. And that's why it's taking so many forms for its own enjoyment out of its own free will. So mahābhogā is someone who enjoys the variety of experiences that the manifested forms are going through. Mahāaishvarya. Aishvarya is a sovereign, is a ruler. So mahāaishvarya means the supreme sovereign. What does that mean? Sovereign is a king or a queen, and they are usually ruling a kingdom. There is nothing that the king or queen cannot do within their kingdom. Every power that is possible is vested in them. So like that, this ultimate reality is the supreme sovereign and has every power that is available. Therefore, what it means is this ultimate reality is limitless. Mahāvīryā. Veeram generally means courage. So, it is the supreme courage. Mahābalā. Balam usually means strength, right? So, it is generally associated with the body. That's where courage is mental strength, and balam is physical strength. And so, greatest strength, supreme strength. Mahābuddhir. Buddhi means intellect. So, supreme intellect. Obviously knows everything, therefore is supreme intellect. Mahāsiddhir. Siddhi means attainment. So is the supreme attainment. Anyone who is able to achieve that oneness with the ultimate reality, that is the supreme attainment, and that is the goal of this human life. Mahāyogeśvareśvarī. So Yogeshvara can be split as Yoga Ishvara. Ishvara again is master or lord. So anyone who has mastered yoga is generally called as a yogi or a yogini. Ishvari means their master. She is the master or lord or ruler of those yogis. So that is one way to look at it. The other way to look at it also is Yogeshvara is typically Shiva. It is said that Shiva is the Adi Yogi and he had 8 students, and one of the students is Patanjali, who then came up with all the Yoga Shastram. So Yogeshvara is usually associated with Shiva, and she is the master of Shiva. That is also another way to look at it. Mahatantra, she is the supreme tantra. Mahamantra, she is the supreme mantra. Mahayantra, she is the supreme yantra. So now you can look at it. Earlier we saw that she was the essence of the mantra, she was the soul of the yantra, she is the form of tantra. And now we are saying she is the mantra, she is the tantra, and she is the yantra. So you can see that oneness there. And similarly, if you look at it, we are all the manifested forms are form of that ultimate reality, and the manifested forms are the ultimate reality. So you can see that comparison here. Mahasana means one who has the greatest seat. So if you take a Sri Chakram, Lalitambika, and she is that ultimate reality, she resides in the Bindu. That is the, if you take a 3D view of it, that is the topmost point. The Bindu is the topmost point, and if you look at a 2-dimensional, then it's the center. And similarly, if you take the Tattva map, ultimate reality is above all the steps. So in that it has a great seat. Mahayaga Kramaradhya. Mahayagam means great ritual or supreme ritual. Kramaradhya, so one who is worshipped through the method of a supreme ritual, or one who is worshipped as Mahayaga. So those are ways to look at it. So what is this Mahayaga? Generally, in the Sri Vidya tradition, Sri Chakra is a very important way in which Lalita is prayed to, and the Sri Chakram has several layers around it, and there is every layer has a yogini who is responsible for it, and Lalitambika is attended to by 8 yoginis. So each yogini is in one layer and Lalita is in the center. So there is a puja that is called as Nava Avarana Puja. Avaranam means enclosure. So each enclosure, there is one yogini who is responsible for it. When we worship Lalita along with those yoginis, then it's called as Nava Avarana Puja, and that is also called as Mahayagam. Yagam usually is with fire, but Navavarana Puja is also called as Mahayagam. And every yogini has 8 attendants. So 8 times 8, 64 yoginis. So Lalitambika plus 64 yoginis are worshipped in the Navavarana Puja. So that is one way to look at it. The other thing is, in the Atharva Veda, there is a minor Upanishad called Bhavanopanishad. This Bhavanopanishad actually teaches people to compare their human body with Sri Chakra and do the puja in that way. So that is also called as Mahayaga Kramaradhya. So the highest yagam is considering our body as the Sri Chakram and feeling the presence of divine in us. So that is also called as Mahayaga. Mahabhairava Pujita. Mahabhairava Pujita means Bhairava here references Shiva. So the word Bhairava has Ba, Ra, Va. Ba means it references creation, Ra references sustenance, and Va references dissolution. So Bhairava is one who is the awareness or witnessing awareness for creation, sustenance, and dissolution. And there is another way to look at it. The moment we say Bhairava, Bhairava is a fierce protector. Bhairava is Shiva. and generally it is perceived that Shiva's job is dissolution, right? And Shiva's dance itself, the Tandavam, represents the cycles of creation and destruction. And if you think about it, we think about time as past, present, and future. And a lot of us are either in the past or in the future. Present is not something that we all pay too much attention to. If we were in the present all the time, then most often we will not have anxiety or fear. In fact, that's one of the reasons why babies are always happy, because they don't have a sense of past or future. They're in the present moment. That's why they're always happy. So present, being mindful, that's why it brings happiness. But anyways, in the time, if you see, there is creation and dissolution that's happening every second. So 1 second has to end when the other second will come up. So this creation and dissolution is happening in time continuously. And where is that moment that arises from? It arises from this ultimate reality. Where did that moment dissolve into? It dissolved into that ultimate reality. So Mahābhairava Pujita says that she is worshipped by great Bhairava, but basically it means the creation and dissolution, and both creating and dissolving into her. So she is worshipped by the great Bhairava. So the dance of Shiva represents how the creation and dissolution all go into her. She is the witnessing awareness. She is the witness for everything that's happening. So that's what Mahābhairava Pujita means. With that, we have reviewed all the namas. Just one small story around Bhairava. Bhairava, as we discussed, is Shiva, and Bhairava is a fierce protector. And there is a short story around Bhairava. Once Brahma and Vishnu had a small disagreement, and they both were trying to find out who is the best one among them. And so they went to Shiva, and they wanted for Shiva to mediate and figure out who is the best among them. So the reason behind this is, we all know Brahma was born out of Vishnu, right? He came from Vishnu. There is from the Nabi of Vishnu, there is a lotus, and then Brahma originated in that. So Brahma at that time used to have 5 heads, and Shiva also had 5 heads. So Brahma got a little bit proud, and he said, I have 5 heads like Shiva, therefore I am better than you, Vishnu, therefore you should treat me with respect. So that's why they went to Shiva. So then Shiva stood as a pillar of light, and he told Brahma and Vishnu, whoever finds either my head or my feet first is the greatest person. So greatest God. So then Vishnu took the form of a boar, and he started to go down to find the feet. Brahma took the form of a swan, and he flew up to find the head. So both of them kept on moving. Vishnu kept on going down, Brahma kept on going up, but they couldn't find head or feet. And it long time elapsed, even in the God's years, and that means in human years it will be very long time. So many years passed, and then at some point Vishnu came to the realization that finding the feet of Shiva is going to be impossible, and he is anadi. He doesn't have a start, he doesn't have an ending. Therefore, he decided, okay, this is not going to work, and he realizes that, this is all immaterial. Who's great is not a material thing, and so he comes back and he tells Shiva, sorry, I think I just got distracted by my pride, and I couldn't find your feet. Now, Brahma is also going like that, and he is going, and it's been a long time, but he's not willing to give up. As he is flying up, there is a flower, and it's called Talambu in Tamil, and the flower is coming down. So then Brahma in the form of swan is asking that flower, where are you coming from? That flower said, I was in Shiva's head and I am coming down. So immediately Brahma got a thought. He said, you know what, why don't you do me a favor? Now, I was trying to find Shiva's head, and I've been flying for so long and I'm not able to find. I don't know how much more I have to go. And then immediately the flower interrupted him and said, oh yeah, there is long time you have to fly. It's going to be a very long time. And so Brahma said, no, I don't want to fly that much. So let's go to Shiva. And why don't you tell Shiva that you met me at the top, and therefore he will believe you because you're coming from his head, and that way I will win this competition. The flower also agreed, and both of them went to Shiva and said, oh, I reached your head. I saw, look, this flower is also the witness for me reaching your head. Shiva obviously is sarvajñā. He knows everything, and he knows Brahma did not reach the head. And Shiva was very angry that Brahma chose to lie about that. Vishnu could not reach, came back and said, sorry, I couldn't reach. But Brahma chose to lie about it. And at that point, Shiva took the form as Bhairava, and he cut off the fifth head of Brahma. And when he cut off the fifth head of Brahma, obviously if somebody cuts the head, they will die. But Brahma is very well versed in Vedas, and the Vedas have a power. Anyone who learns Vedas is always protected by the Vedas. And because of the power of Vedas, even though the fifth head was cut, Brahma did not die. He came back alive, and he had only 4 heads. From that point, Brahma had only 4 heads. And the story continues. So this is just how Bhairava avatara and who Bhairava is. That's why he's an angry, fierce protector. And you have to be truthful with Bhairava. And the story continues as because Shiva cut Brahma's head, and Brahma was well versed in Vedas. Anyone who harms a person who is well versed in Vedas will have to face the consequences. And in this particular case, this amounted to almost killing that person. Only because of the power of Vedas, Brahma did not die. So Shiva got a Brahmahati dosham. Brahmahati dosham is something when you kill a learned person, then you get the Brahmahati dosham, or one gets the Brahmahati dosham. So Shiva got the Brahmahati dosha, and the fifth head of Brahma got stuck to Shiva's hand. He couldn't drop it. And then finally he had to wander around, and Vishnu helped him with finding out how to get rid of this. And finally Vishnu directed Shiva to Varanasi, and then he went and got food from Annapurani in the Kapalam, and that's how his Brahmahati dosha was removed. So this is the story of Bhairava. And it is said that Bhairava is also the protector of all the Shakti Pitas. So when Sati jumped into the fire, for a long time Shiva was carrying her body around, and he wasn't coming out of the depression. So Vishnu created a cut in Sati's body, and slowly her body was disintegrated, and it fell in 51 places around the earth, and those are all called as Shakti Pitam. And Bhairava is someone who protects all those Shakti Pitams. So that is a little bit about how we worship Bhairava. So that's all for today. Thank you.